Hi guys, it's Liz and welcome back to my channel. Today I have something I kind of want to talk about. And what's kind of ironic with this is that it happened right after I gave out my whole, I guess, tour of my art. And there's still stuff that I haven't even presented into that, which is mostly dealing with my OC type stuff or even comics. Right now, what you're watching on the screen is me working on another commission, and I hope y'all enjoy that. I know sometimes it can be a little slow, but hopefully this commentary helps you. Anyway, in this video, I'm going to be talking about artists gatekeeping other artists, or even just like people gatekeeping what it is to be an artist. And I noticed that I did make a video about what it means to be an artist. However, I am gonna like still keep that viewpoint. But with this, I'm gonna show screenshots of the argument and also the post that it took place on. Now, I do want to preface this by saying do not directly or even remotely go towards these people, attack them in DMs. Please do not do that. Like, I do not condone doing that, especially whenever they don't really deserve it, even if they're being a jerk online. Please don't do that, because that's a whole can of worms right there, and just let it be, because those people would have what's coming to them in the long run, probably, who knows. But anyway, like, literally, just don't go after these people. That's all I'm having to say. Another thing is, like, the post itself, I didn't know what life art was to begin with, and I'll have like the screenshots just play by on the side of the screen for you to pause and read if you'd like to. But I didn't know what life art was until someone within that comment section replied and told me. Hopefully I didn't sound like I was a jerk to them, but I just like told them like, hey, thank you for showing me it or telling me about this genre. And a lot of people in that comment section, and I'm saying a lot of people, is really just like two people being absolute jerks, but anywho, it's just kind of like very dumb whenever you have it where they're going over different things, and one of the major things that I didn't like was how one of them mentioned how children's art is absolute SHIT. I'm not going to say that on my channel because we're clean here. Anyway, it's just kind of like, okay, I get what you're trying to say as far as like, oh, it doesn't have value or anything like that, but with me, how that was portrayed and also getting into art myself, it started with me being a kid and starting to outwardly present my ideas, especially with how you had in public school with art classes. I mentioned in my other video, like after I was out of public school, I never really had an art class after that. And that's whenever I really started to actually still pursue it, regardless of having that or not. And it's just kind of like, if you're going to say like their work is crap, I'm just going to use that term other than the other word, then you're literally just kind of shutting down other artists, or even just kids in general who may want to get into art, which is like a major red flag in my opinion, because now you're just saying like, oh, they don't deserve to do it, or anything like that. Oops, my southern side kicked out. Anyway, I hope y'all like my southern side sometimes. It can get a little wild, but anyway. I just have my notes right here about the whole argument that took place, but that was like one of the points that really just kind of like shook me to my core in a way, because it's just like, now you're saying like some kid that probably worked on a little doodle and then came back to it when they're older, like, that doesn't mean anything or something to that extent. And it just like, it really hit a chord, I'll be honest. Anywho, another point this person was trying to make was about how it's not real art because you went to a liberal arts college. Um, I never have. I don't know about the person they were replying to if they've had, but that just, oof. It really bothered me because like a lot of people go to college for different reasons. I'm currently trying to get in college to get a business degree. But with putting that out there with, hey, if you go to college, that doesn't mean that you're an artist or you have crap art. Like, it's just, that is not the point of art at all, I guess. Like, if we're gonna look at it objectively, saying that someone can't go to college to be an artist is very derogatory because a lot of people do have to go to college to do certain things within their life choices. Sometimes some people get stupid degrees, other people get good degrees. Like, it's a hit or miss kind of scenario, but that doesn't mean you should judge that person if they got into a liberal arts college or went to a college for art at all. That's just something I found very pathetic to put out there. I don't know why, but it's just kind of like seeing that. And you have some people who do go to college for art just to learn more about it, especially like art history. And a lot of people find that interesting. Like, that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong if you want to go to college for that or not go to college for it. It's entirely an individual decision. And I guess this person doesn't understand how that's an individual decision. Now, he also mentioned, or someone else, probably same person, probably someone else. I can't remember at this point. I'll still have the comments playing on the screen, but goes out of their way to go into, you're not a real artist if you don't get paid. Hmm. Okay, I do get paid for art. As I mentioned earlier, I'm working on a commission in the video. But most of the time, if I'm making something out of my own flourishing, or even just my general motive to do art, that is entirely just out of hobby, not necessarily professional work. But that doesn't mean that I'm not an artist when I do that. Like, a lot of people have done that in the past, and you even have Bob Ross, who, sure, most of his paintings did sell, but most of the time he was there just to teach people how to paint. That was really it. And just people did donate in order to try to keep his show up on the air. Now you can probably watch it on Netflix, YouTube, and Amazon Prime. So that was kind of a plug-in to go watch Bob Ross, I know. But anyway, it's just kind of silly that people would do that and just say like, oh, you have to be paid. Well, no, you don't. If you want to be paid, there's nothing wrong with that. However, you don't have to be paid. If you want to turn it into a decision as your career choice or whatever, yeah, you probably do have to be paid. But for the most part, if you're just doing art because you like to create, you don't have to be paid for that. I'm sorry, but you just don't. And I think it's really inappropriate just to do that. No. And then the another person, I think it's like the same dude or whatever. Both of them got kind of mixed up, but it was like, oh, you have to be an apprentice to someone to be paid. Excuse me, what? Um, okay. I get if you're just trying to follow someone's tutorial or be under someone in order to get their namesake, or even just to get your name out there. That is ideally something that you can do. However, That does not necessarily mean that you have to be an apprentice of someone to get paid. If you want to get paid as an artist, that is. Honestly, I didn't understand that point at all because it's just kind of like a lot of people, they don't really have apprenticeships anymore these days unless you're actually trying to get into a particular field. There are times where I ask my friends online with their art stuff, like, hey, what can I do in order to improve? Like, that's just general, like, hey, asking for advice. There's nothing wrong with asking for advice, but it's just kind of like to compare that to saying, like, well, that means you're being apprenticed under them or anything like that. No. Just no. I'm sorry, but no. It's really just strange. And then they try to put art into it's all objective. However, I will say, like, I personally believe when it's an art genre, like, let's say acrylic painting versus doll making, like wall jointed dolls, for example. I love watching those videos to death. Like, I enjoy those. My heart goes out to those creators because that is a lot of hard work to do. But it's just kind of like watching that is still like within itself, those are objective art genres that people can get into. However, whatever they mean behind it, or even just like what they're painting, that is subjective to them and other people. Like, you're okay to have your own thought of it. There's nothing wrong with that. I find it kind of weird that the same person, though, goes into it like, I try to tell them, like, hey, if you don't like it, I don't like it either, and that's okay. And they kind of veer off into one direction of, like, well, I think it's pretty, but it doesn't mean you're an artist. And honestly, like, it is a TikTok video, and I'm not sure if I should put my opinion on TikTok on this video particularly, but for a too long didn't read scenario, I don't like TikTok because of its privacy invasions and a lot of inappropriate stuff that is on that website. Okay, I'm trying to suppress my southern accent, I'm sorry. But anyway, it's just, with that being said, sure, you can make the point where I was trying to say, like, is this just to get content out, or is there actually a meaning behind it? Because sometimes people, you just never know. But I wasn't, like, saying, like, it isn't art or anything of that nature. I just, like, I personally just didn't like what was going on, because even if you went to the artist page, she has a lot of stuff on there where she's literally using her kids as props, and I don't agree with that. But if her kids are enjoying themselves, so be it. I think that's what really matters in that situation. But it's just kind of like, and then you had someone else, and I think this person, for even commenting and being respectful, that's something that you do want out of any type of argument, is another person also being respectable and putting their opposite opinion out. Like, the other person was going off about, like, hey, I find this to be very beautiful and all that, and I found that, like, okay, it's fine if you think that, I don't really mind. That's entirely your opinion, and I respect that. That is just something that I realize that it's totally different compared to how other people are doing things on that platform and on that comment thread itself. I even had someone comment below me saying, like, well, your art looks like it's done by a 12-year-old. Like, okay, I don't really care if you think that. But I'm still learning, don't worry about it. Most of the stuff I do post is just stuff that I get to post. There's a lot of paintings that I don't post onto my account just because I forget to. And sometimes I put those paintings back into storage and all that good stuff. Anyway, before I ramble off, another thing is, like, the person was acting like just because they found it to be absolute crap, that everyone should think it's absolute crap, and that it makes them a crap artist. Whew. This point is honestly one of the worst points I've seen because you can't decide what other people think about a certain thing, especially if it's art related or even song related. I can easily kind of put this into a perspective of where I was easily disgusted by this one show. I'm not sure what my mom was watching. She's all into the singing shows that it's like the local stuff like American Idol and all that. But it's just like seeing that and then the person on there is like, well, we don't want someone to think about a song. And honestly, I don't know, that personally disgusted me because I tend to like my songs with a deep meaning. I'm gonna be real, like I'm a huge 21 Pilots fan, so that's the reason why I prefer deeper meaning songs rather than a typical song about sex or drugs or even just a song about love, quotations. But it's just kind of like, that's my personal taste. Someone else can think differently, and I'm totally fine with that. Anyway, where was I? I'm sorry. This person was trying to say, like, well, since I don't like it, it should be universally crap. Like, no. 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 Okay. And the reason why I'm saying no to that is because, hey, it's your subjective opinion. The end. No buts, no coconuts, nada. Okay? And the reason why I say this is mostly to the fact of how it's like someone else already within that comment section not really minding that people were not liking it. They were just saying, hey, I find this beautiful. It's okay for them to think that, and it's okay for you to think that it's crap. That's the beauty of art being subjective and up to personal debate because of how it is different to anyone. Like I would use my space jellies or spray jellies, for example, which is just like my spray paint art of jellyfish. That to me, and I'm trying to actually figure out a purpose for them within my comment section or comic section part of my art. Ugh, can't talk. Just because of how it's like something I really enjoy doing. I originally created the spray jellies thanks to just like doing a random video outside and spray painting. Like that was just something I was doing out of my own tuition and just having fun. I say tuition, what the heck. Ugh. Y'all are gonna hear a lot of bloopers in this, I guess you can call them. But, oh, relatability, I think. Anyway, it's just like, with creating them, that was actually just something I did out of a mindless manner. Like, I was just straight up like, hey, I'm gonna create something, and I may or may not like it. I ended up liking it, and I still do those paintings to this day, and trying to find a meaning to use those jellyfish in my comic that I'm trying to create. Or the world building I'm trying to do. Now, I do want to say, like, it's okay if people don't see it in that way. A lot of people didn't realize they were jellyfish, but a lot of people, other people did realize it. Like, it's like a back and forth of seeing anything, really. So, yerp. Anyway, where was I? I'm sorry, I'm rambling off and I'm really tired at this point. No. I do want to say, if someone has a different opinion than you, that does not mean you should trash or even crap talk about their family or where they went to college or anything of that. And the reason for that is it's just like you're probably easily projecting for one thing, or you're either just being a hole out of spite. And I'm gonna go with the latter and say that you're being an a hole out of spite. if you're gonna do that, because it's just kind of like, it's a different opinion, and there's nothing wrong with a different opinion. It's, it is what it is. And to end this off, I'm just kind of, I don't know. I already made it to like 20 minutes, so fun. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this random video. I know it's not the best I can do. I can definitely do better. But this was basically just a little vent for you guys. Anyway, I hope y'all have a blessed day, and I'll see you next time.